But what's up? How you living? What's going on? I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I hope that as you catch this, whether it's on replay or live, you know that your boy appreciates you oh so greatly. And man, let's dive into this, bro, because this is crazy. Okay, this legit is crazy. This list, I don't know. I want to know y'all's thoughts. I want to know y'all's thoughts on what this looks like on I'm actually trying to there we go. I want to get y'all's thoughts on a lot of this. Cuz this is all right. So this is the list. All right, this is the list that we have available to us. Hopefully you guys can kind of see it. Let me move myself out the way or maybe make it smaller. Nah. Just move it out the way. Check this out, man. So apparently the story is again, you see it at the top. Here's a list of places women absolutely refuse to go on a first date to. And thank you to the ladies who reached out. Man, even getting an applause. Okay. And we're gonna look at some of the comments, and there's so many TikToks about it. Again, it's kind of gone viral. And I'm not too sure. And it seems like this started from the Cheesecake Factory, obviously that being number one. I would also have to find um the TikTok man that would kinda help in kinda getting the context. Basically, a lady was mad that she was taking the, you know, Cheesecake Factory for the first date. She felt some type of way, right? So these are the list. This is the list. Okay. Cheesecake Factory taking number one, Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle, Olive Garden, the movies, your house, any fast food chain. Buffalo Wild Wings, Wingstop, Red Lobster, Buffet, IHOP, Denny's, the gym, church, Starbucks, coffee dates, ice cream dates, family functions, movie night, Netflix, Hulu, somewhere that requires a long drive, bowling, nightclubs, hookah bar. Okay, let me scroll down a little bit. Uh, a bar with just drinks, Waffle House, and there's a 28th one as well. I don't know if it shows that one. But regardless, I probably can find another one where it shows number 28, but that's it. Okay. And this is so crazy to me, y'all. Like from the point of view of a guy, this obviously is really ludicrous to me in a lot of ways. But I just have questions. I have questions. I have not necessarily concerns, but more so questions. Like where did we get off with this? Right? Where did we get off with this? When did this become uh that type of showing, that type of deal? Because let me tell you what this list tells me. Okay, just from a guy, right? We don't even necessarily got to get into the whole, biblical ideology or not even ideology, I should say, because that's it's not an ideology, is truth. But regardless, like we don't have to get to that direction. What I am trying to say is like it just seems as if this right here is like you understand first and foremost, like if you don't have understanding behind a lot of red pills momentum or red pills thinking process, hopefully that this kind of gives you some kind of idea of where those guys are coming from, because they're eating this up. They're like, yo, see, I mean, among other things, you look at Jada and Will Smith and all that stuff that's taking place. You're gonna say like, bro, see, like this is it. This is exactly why, and modern women and all this kind of stuff. And so you kind of get like, and this might sound kind of crazy, controversial, maybe a little bit. I'm not trying to put myself on that pedestal, but you kind of understand like why guys are moving with the motivation of saying, hey, if we're gonna go out on a date and we finna spend all this money, I'm expecting something in return. Now, is that right? I'm gonna say no, but you understand again. If you caught a video I put out recently this week talking about grace and truth, like you just getting an understanding on why people are saying what they're saying and doing what they're doing. And this is one of them. And so hopefully you can kind of see that. And among other reasons too, not just red pill, but and thinking processes like that. But hopefully you can see that is legit. So from that, also I kind of shift to a place of thinking like what is this really about? Like if I had a question to ask whoever made that post, the women who came and put this and who all played a role in putting this list together, as we'll see on TikTok, not it doesn't seem as if a lot of people agree. I haven't dove too deep into it though. But my first question is, where does this come from? Where is this really rooted at? The idea that there are just certain places. Now again, me personally, like I'm not gonna. You're not gonna find me at a hookah bar, a nightclub, a bar for drinks. Like that's just not me. That's not the kind of guy I am. That's not how I rock. That's not how I roll. So me personally, right? You're not gonna find me there, right? I'm not going to invite you on a first date to go to places like that. Um, I'm looking at this list. Well, I'm not inviting you to my house either. You get what I'm saying? Like that's just a boundary. Like there's just certain things you don't do. That's one of them for me. Right. There's too much involved, too many potential temptations. I just met you, whether in person for the first time or whatever the case. Like I don't know you, you don't know me like that. Right. Like first date at the crib? Nah, nah. I mean that's just a no-go. Okay. Boundaries in place. I'm not trying to put myself in no type of position um to put either one of us in line of jeopardy there. But when I look at these other things, man, um, this is really, really wild. So my question is, where does this come from? And it seems as if a lot of this has some type of connection to uh putting the value potentially. Don't worry about the doorbell. Somebody's getting it. The potential value that somebody is putting on a man, on your pockets. Like this is what this looks like. So we can't go to cheesecake. We can't spend reasonable money to have conversation and really get to know each other, right? Because that doesn't matter, right? That doesn't matter at all. It seems like you want X amount of money spent. You're expecting a certain amount of money spent on just the first date. I'm concerned and question. Well, what is the right amount? What is the acceptable amount of money that is to be spent on the first date? And is this really about getting to know the person that just requested you to show up on this date? I'll be right back, y'all. I'm gonna close this door. Hold on. Let me run this ad real quick. Haha. I got it. I got it. See, I got this ad. I'll be right back. Yo, listen, I've got something amazing in the works for you available right now. If you're somebody who's looking to make this year your best year yet at diving into your faith and allowing it to become more applicable in your life. Never known where to start. You've always been confused. It feels overwhelming. Maybe you feel you don't have time. You don't know how to apply the Bible into your life. You have so many questions and thoughts as to what makes sense. How does it make sense? Don't worry. Your boy's got you covered with the Faith Factory. Click the link down in the description below. And in this Google document, you will find a plethora of resources that are at your disposal for you to be able to grow in your faith. I'm talking Bible plans, content creators to follow and subscribe to that better will enrich your faith, resources, links, books, all of that good stuff, even worship playlists, something to jam out to as you progress through your day. I really think this can be the start of something good for you and the lives around you by locking in and making sure that this year is your best year spiritually, therefore making it your best year ever. Don't forget to click the link in the description and go be great. All right. So just had to close the door, man. They just showed up on me, man. But anyway, um, is this about the value? Is this about the value, the pockets? Right. I love that. Nina, this list is derived from a modern society mindset. Like so talk to me for a second. I love this. What could you describe to me what that modern society looks like from your perspective? I would love to hear that. Especially from the perspective of a woman. I would love to hear that because this is a conversation that's in circles for a lot of men. So I do hear a lot of men's perspectives, and a lot of us are kind of on the similar pathway, at least from understanding it and seeing it, whether it's happened to us or we see other people go through it. But my question is this about the guy? Are you trying to get to know the guy, or are you trying to get to know how much money he has? Right? What is determining the value of the first date? That's a really good question too. Because if you ask me, now listen, I have experienced a first date. We had a ball at an arcade, enjoyed ourselves. We're two competitive people, and I think maybe $35 was spent, but we enjoyed ourselves and we went on other opportunities to kick it and to enjoy one another's company. So I'm just curious, what is determining the value? And why is money the resource that determines the value of the first date and not the person, not getting to know the person, not actually capitalizing on that opportunity to meet, right? How much time was spent prior to the first date to have conversation and to get to know where you two are, right, in your respective places, to ask the right questions and to see where things are at, even through messages. I know y'all know that y'all can catch a nice quick vibe through the messages, respectful and being honest and upfront and genuine, of course. Like, you can catch a good vibe through the messages. You can catch the good vibe. You can catch it, man. It's not like a peekaboo type of deal. You can catch that. So I'm just curious, looking at this list, man, y'all telling me places like IHOP is off limits, Cheesecake. What's wrong with Cheesecake Factory? I mean, just looking at the list, what's wrong with Cheesecake Factory? Why can't we just go and enjoy a meal at Cheesecake Factory? Cheesecake is just is too low for you. Too crazy. The craziest one for me is church. Now, granted, I haven't been on a church date for like a first date. But what's wrong with church? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I kind of get where you're coming from, Nina, when you're like, yo, this is from a modern society mindset. Because in the culture that we're around, not too many people are really indulged in Christ, in church, in building up their spiritual lives in truth. We got a lot of people that are into some kind of crazy stuff. So I'm just curious, like, where do we draw the line? You know what I'm saying? As a young cat out here, so many young men are under attack. So many men are under attack. It feels like you can't do anything and can't go anywhere anymore to please a woman, to, you know what I'm saying, like, enjoy her company and spend time getting to know her. And it's easy to get into those spaces. It's easy to get into those spaces. Be like, man, I'm just gonna throw in the towel, bro, because they asking for crazy stuff. It's unrealistic expectations. You're expecting me to spend 300, 400, $500 on the first date. Like, what's up? And you want to move right, and you want to move in the right space, but it seems like things like this that go out and go viral, you just, what am I supposed to do? And I hear you on that 1000%. Even catching this list myself, I kind of went crazy. Some the tag says number six did it for me. Number six is the movies. Now, granted, now me personally, like, I want to have conversation, or do something competitive, right? Where we're able to have some fun. So maybe I wouldn't do the movies on a first date. That could be a later date, but it may not be the first date for me personally. Again, like, I get the house perspective. I'm not inviting nobody to my house. I'm not going to nobody's house on a first date. Go out to a public place, get to know what this person likes and enjoys. And that's kind of where it's at, man. My initial reaction is basically what I've just shared here, in-depth conversation. I'm curious to know what brings value to the first date. I think if this is somebody that you enjoy and you're getting to know, and there's some personality similarities, y'all have had some good conversations, whether it's on the phone or, y'all's actual first opportunity to sit and see one another, sit with and see one another, you know what I'm saying, comes on the first date. Like, I really do believe that the value isn't in the monetary, it's in the person. It's being able to actually spend time with them and get to know them and meet them, you know what I'm saying, and carry and continue carrying conversations that you may have shared on the phone, prior to this first date. You know what I mean? And really, really kind of enjoying that beginning courting process, but just getting to meet one another. I mean, something like ice cream dates ain't bad. I don't know where we're getting this stuff from. Ice cream dates ain't bad. Movies, going to the movies, it's not my preference, but it's not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Going to church, going bowling. Who don't like bowling? Like, it's cool if you don't mess with bowling like that. I'm not saying that has to be it, but bowling can be a fun activity. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people who don't really mess with Olive Garden just as a restaurant as a whole. So it's not even a first date thing. It's just I don't want to go there at all. Now, me personally, that's not how I rock. I mess with Olive Garden, but that's a different story. For you to put cheesecake at number one, bro, y'all are wilding out here. And for me, man, this is plays a role into the message that I really want to give to young men, to people, as you're navigating in relationships. in venturing out into dating, it is so important that you cultivate a relationship with your creator calling and capacity. And all of these things are nuanced. And I continuously say it on repeat because it's important. But it is so nuanced when it comes to capacity. Not only do you know what you have room for and what you're willing to make room for, but you are building, growing into becoming the person that you need to be. And you're going to attract the right people. And I feel like there are a lot of people who are struggling in this space because they're attracting people like this. You know what I'm saying? Where, hey, the monetary is where the value's at, not the time spent, not actually getting to sit down with you and meet you, but it's more so where are we spending our money or where you're spending your money. Because not only did she come up with this list, but it's probable that she's also not going to spend money and go 50-50. Right. And I'm not saying again, I'm not trying to minimize that. I'm not trying to glorify that. I'm just pointing it out that there's a lot of people who are on the side of this list that may not be willing to give, you know what I'm saying, give money to that and pitch into the high amount of bill that they might be trying to spend. And so I feel like we're in a lot of ways we're limiting through lists like this potentially because I don't want to play like I know every girl's mindset who created this list. But I do think that there's a difference between having a preference on what you would prefer to do on a first date and then making a list like this where you're saying I'm absolutely not going nowhere near this. So because then that almost comes off as saying, "Hey, this is below me. This is beneath me. I'm better than this. I'm more deserving than this." And this is where all of that little bit of entitlement comes from, not just women, men too, but like all of the entitlement comes from I'm better than this. And so again, the question becomes, is this more so where we're putting the money at and what we're spending money on? Or is this about actually getting to meet the person, know the person, and value the encounter that we're having? Because something tells me that you aren't even really here for me. Like if I were to be given, I don't know if I would ask that. I would have that question. Are you here for me? Because what if my budget isn't where you're hoping it is? What if my budget isn't able to take you on a $200, $300 first date? What if it's not there? Right. So then we get to that place where you're dipping and you're leaving. And I'm kind of like, okay, well, I'll just move on to the next, right? Because that just shows me that you weren't really interested in getting to know me. You were more interested in getting to know the pockets and what those were looking like. And if it was feasible for you to keep moving, right? And again, bro, like I want to keep this as nuanced as possible because if you're in a position where you're looking to go to marriage, and you're trying to engage and investigate into that. I do think that at some point you do want to consider where somebody is financially, but we also want to understand that this is not all that there is to this person. A man's value is not determined by his pockets, right? Just like ladies, your value isn't determined by what's in your pants. Just like your value isn't determined by the followers and the likes that you get on your socials, and your value isn't determined by the makeup you wear and the clothing brand you got on, and it just isn't, right? So we have to be willing to get to a place where we're understanding who we are and our value, not through entitlement, but how God sees us. Because if I know that, if I get energy like this, uh like I'm a just I'm good. You know what I mean? Because there's too many red flags off rip with this, in my opinion. And it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. So listen, if you want to go on a first date, and you don't want to be handed something like this from somebody who's like, "Hey, I want to go, but I don't want to go to any of these spots," and you see this list pop up, obviously ask your questions. I'm not telling you who you should or shouldn't agree to go on this first date with. All I'm telling you is that when you set your temperature at the right place and you know the standard that you're walking into on these dating scenes and dating scenery, you're not going to attract all the foolishness that comes with this. You're not, I really don't. And if they show up because of how you're moving, you're not even phased by this. You're just gonna keep moving. And hey, kindly reject and keep moving. When you set your temperature at the right places, uh like your character integrity, how you're moving, like This is not going. I really have a tough time believing that you're going to attract somebody who is going to try to flaunt this and throw this in your face. Young men, right? So again, it just comes back to relationship with creator, calling capacity, building those, getting established in those, really being able to progress forward in those relationships, the capacity, not just knowing what I have room for, but also knowing who I am, whose I am, the value that's on my life, and not allowing somebody to dictate that through a list of places that they're just simply unwilling to go for a first date. It's a first date. This is not a marriage proposal. I am not choosing you to be my wife on the first date. And if we have to go spend $300 plus dollars, $200 plus dollars, if we have to go and spend a certain X amount of money to make this first date work, right? I just have more questions about what your intentions are. And it causes a necessity to look at that. And so, yeah, I agree. This definitely comes from a modern society, and it's a struggle. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on all of this? Definitely comment below if you're watching this on a replay. Because this is wild. And I want to look at some of the comments too. All of these places are acceptable. It's pure nonsense. Didn't add hotels because they because they having, pleasure for flights. This is ridiculous. They put Waffle House, and Russell Wilson just rented out a Waffle House for Sierra birthday. Well, I guess, if you want to compare that, sure. Unk 7, 20, 21, 22, gotta go. Everything else we can discuss. So where are they trying to go? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a good question. Where are we trying to go? The movies isn't a good first date. It's too intimate and no space to get to know a person. Like I said, I'm on that agreement. Like, that's a preference. My wife and I's first date was sushi and then the strip club. Wow. Together for 14 years and married for 8.5. Hey, all right. Shout out, I guess. That's crazy. It's interesting. Um, tell them to keep that energy. Time is the best teacher. Yeah, they're wilding out here, man. Let's look at some of the TikTok responses too. I kind of want to look at some of that.
So this one is for the ladies only. Men's, please stay out of this comment section. But we have to talk about this list of places that women absolutely refuse to go on a first date. There are 30 items on this list. We are going to start right at the top. Number one, Cheesecake Factory. So I know this one is going to be really popular because there was that young lady who refused to go out of the car on a first date because he brought her to the Cheesecake Factory. It went hyper viral. Yeah, she's obviously never been to the Cheesecake Factory because those avocado spring rolls slap every day of the week. They are so good, and I don't see anything wrong with Cheesecake Factory for a first date. There, I said it. I know,
Nothing
unpopular
wrong.
opinion, but
Nothing
this is
wrong
your
with
little
it.
married 42-year-old internet bestie, auntie, big sis friend, just here to give my take on this list. Applebee's, no. Chili's, no. Chipotle, no. Olive Garden, no. The movies, no. Your house, no. Any fast food chain, no. Buffalo Wild Wing, no. Wingstop, no. Red Lobster, no. A buffet, no. IHOP, no. Denny's, no. The gym, no. Church, no. Starbucks, yes. If you follow me, you know I met my.
So check it out though, right? So this first date list, okay, dating. I mean, she's seems like she's married. Again, my question to everybody who would say no to anything: why? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Why would you say no? Why would you say no to is it because it's just not your thing? It's not something you enjoy eating? Because I do think that there can be that too. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you just don't enjoy those places, right? It's not necessarily a first choice kind of deal, right? So that there's room for that too. And I think there's room to understand that. At the same time though, man, I am a big believer, man, that like the first date isn't based on the monetary value that's spent. The first date is really an opportunity to get to know someone, meet someone. And if you already have a pretty decent, solid connection to start things off, like does it matter at that point where we go to that extent? To the point where X amount of dollars has to be spent. You know what I'm saying? That's the question that I have on my mind.
As an OG who's been married 21 years, my son asked me
Oh,
about
that's a whole
Whoever
different one.
created this
Let's see
list,
this
I
one.
just need to say thank you. Somebody had to say it. The only thing you forgot to add here was a walk date. I'm so excited to provide my
Oh
feedback on
God.
these
Oh
locations.
oh
Cheesecake
no.
Factory, Applebee's, Chili's. I've seen that in the movies, but I've never been there. Chipotle, unfortunately, do not recommend. Olive
So
Garden.
she said the only thing you forgot to add on here was a walk date. Again, again, and we have to be careful too, y'all. Oh man. Um, seems like the high maintenance club expands. Maybe she's trolling. Let's keep watching. Let's keep watching.
I also seen that in movies. But going to the movies for a first date is just like, do you not have anything to say? You gotta sit in silence for like 2 hours. So dumb.
Okay,
Your
maybe not.
house,
Maybe not.
convenient. Fast food chain, no. Never heard of Buffalo Wings, Wingstop, or Red Lobster. Never heard of these places. The gym.
Where is
So
she
you can
from?
see her
She's never
squat.
heard of these places. Where is she from?
Church, Starbucks. Come on. Coffee dates, ice cream dates are just like, no.
Man, okay, maybe she's not joking. I was hoping she was joking. So again, my question still remains, y'all. Like, where do you go? Where do you go? If you ask me if the connection is good enough, if the connection is solid enough, if the connection is there, I don't think you look at this list and say no to everything. Of course, like I said, I'm not taking you to my house. I'm not going to yours. Okay. I don't mind church. I'm a believer, man. I don't mind church. Let's go to church, right? Let's go to the gym and get a workout in. Like, not every, and again, you kind of hear the programming and the mindsets going into these things too. Again, I'm not telling you to act dumb, but at the same time, like, okay, you just said, well, you want to go to the gym so you can see me squat. Maybe not. Maybe we just want to get competitive, work out. Maybe you're a hooper. We go hoop. I don't know. Something. We get creative. Like, that's kind of, man, just these attitudes behind it are kind of
a family
crazy.
function. It seems like he just wants to show his family that he is finally dating somebody. Movie
Oh
night
yeah.
again.
You see a lot of it's a lot of it's a lot of heavy assumptions in there.
So cheap, so low effort. Somewhere that requires a long drive. Just like
Sporting
not
event was number
necessary.
28, by the way.
Bowling. I mean, look at my nails. Like, come on.
Oh
Nightclub.
man, no, she's not joking. Yeah, no. No, she's not joking. I just
This is
think
a list
I just think that
of
there's
all the places
gotta be some
that
room,
wouldn't be
man.
acceptable on the first date. This is what women are saying.
When I say I've been waiting to talk about this list,
Go off.
boy, but Chef, you know me. I'm about to break it down, okay?
Go
What
off.
I'm about to say might make y'all mad, but I don't care. Social media and reality TV got y'all messed up.
Mm-hmm.
They got y'all expecting a certain standard every time.
Yeah.
Out of this whole list, there are actually a few that I have questions about. Why do y'all hate on Cheesecake Factory so much? You cannot say they have nothing for you to eat because that menu is stacked.
I
And
want y'all to
why-
pay attention to this comment right here. He said this list was made by people that are always single. Hey, I just
is the movies on here? The
possible.
movies was me and my boyfriend's first date. And we love that now. Like, are you kidding me?
Wow. Okay. So you got somebody again. So this is one thing I do want to be sure of. I want to be certain of. I want to be willing to really share with you. Okay? Really. You have to not assume that every female has partaken in this list, because they haven't. Not every female, not every girl has done it. Okay? It's just not true. It's just not true. Okay? So let's not over course correct and run wild with it and say, man, all the women, all the modern women, like, nah, this isn't all women. But again, like I said, I think at the same time, you can at least see some kind of nuance and understanding where men are like, yo, so what do you expect out of me? What is the right price and right amount? Because what's crazy is they put all this on here, but we still didn't. One thing that we don't have is like, oh, okay, so this is the amount you're expecting. This is how much you're expecting to be spent. We didn't get that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get that. We just got all the places you're unwilling to go. So again, questions still remain. It's kind of the same thing, but I don't want this to be something that you go off of if you enter and encounter into dating spaces. It's quite ludicrous, y'all. Like, I am a firm believer that when it comes to meeting somebody who is potentially the right person, somebody that you get along with really well, y'all have connected really well, I just don't think that the money and how much money is needed to be spent is necessary. And even if you do have to go on a cheap date, you know, whether it's the first date or you guys continue to go to dates, right? Even if you have to do something cheap, man, you know, if it's the right person, hey, it's not going to always be like this. It's not going to always be like this. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know what the right amount is then. And why is that the standard? And when did this become the standard? And I, if you ask me, I think it did because we just got so much stuff going on, man. So many people got accesses to so many different things. So many people are looking to do and have what other people are having on high platforms, and social media has just got people twisted, man. Twisted in so many different ways with these bigger expectations than what things really are. And so it's something to keep in mind and be aware of.
I haven't been on a first date in a long time, but I got to tell y'all, I think this list is the immediately no. I think it's a reach. Okay, you can't go to Cheesecake Factory. Why not? You can't go to
It's a reach.
Applebee's. You can't go to Chili's. You can't go to Chipotle. You can't go to Olive Garden. Damn.
Man said Chipotle.
Can't go to the movies. Not even the movies on your first date. You can't go to your house. Okay, I can understand that one.
Yeah,
No
1000%.
fast food
Yeah, and
spot.
again, like when you look at some of this list, you can understand a couple of them. The house is probably the biggest one I understand. I'm not taking nobody to my house. I ain't going to yours.
Let me tell y'all something. I don't know who needs to hear this, but y'all wilding for this list, okay? This supposed to be a list of unacceptable first dates. You take me to the Cheesecake Factory on our first date? You are my husband. We go together. I don't know what I want to eat, and you took me to a place that has everything. Oh, we go together. And I love my man how I love my bread. Brown Applebee's has $1 margarita. It's gonna be a fun night. We're gonna be freestyling in the parking lot. Take me to Chili's, Chipotle, any fast food restaurant.
Hey.
That lets me know you know how to ball on a budget. It is ridiculous to spend over $50 to not know if I'm a serial killer. Especially with gas is $1,075 a gallon. It don't make no sense.
Gas is
Take me to the gym. I need
$1,075.
to know if you can uplift me. If you cannot bench 105 pounds, we can't go together. Okay? Take me anywhere on this list except church. You take me to church that let me know that you cheat. Okay? I heavy
Okay, it's a reach, but okay.
on the Waffle House. I need to know if you can fight for me, baby. Take me anywhere. I don't care. I'm not paying.
Okay, so you know, they make your assumptions about that as you will, but just
Real fast,
know.
my dogs. This kind of
that-
list don't exist when you date women that like you.
Hello. Look at this comment. On behalf of the real women, we don't care where you go as long as there's food and you make us laugh. That got 2,000 likes. Again, first date with my husband was at the Cheesecake Factory. 20 years together next year. I would happily go to Cheesecake Factory. In fact, I got a gift card. He don't even got to pay for it at all. Okay. So again, man, I'm
Let
kind
me
of going to
tell y'all-
repeat myself over and over. There's one video. There's somebody who's pretty well known in the space that I would like to show. Or look, it got 2.5 million views. Maybe she's not well familiar, but it got 2.5 million views. So I kind of want to see what this looks like. Nope, wrong one. Sorry. This one, 300K. If you guys know who this
So
is, I've seen her around quite a bit. Not too sure exactly where at on social media specifically, but I've seen this around. So let's look at this and give a few thoughts.
post stuff like this, and then they wonder why men aren't dating anymore.
Hello.
Like, I understand, like, Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, a girl does not want to be taken to a Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, there's TVs everywhere. You don't want football blaring as you're trying to get to know somebody. But, like, bowling? I love an activity. That's so much fun. A coffee shop? Like, a first date is about getting to know somebody. It's not about pulling out all the stops and doing something so crazy elaborate. You're just trying to figure out if you like somebody or not. An activity is a great option. Same for, like, the next few dates. On my fiance's and my third date, he picked me up. I had had a long, hard day at work, and he was like, you know, it's 9 p.m., but let's just go get Sonic. We sat at Sonic and talked for like 3 hours and listened to music. One of the best dates we ever went on. I still think about it a year and a half later.
Memories.
It's not about the date. It's not about how much money you spend. It's about the company.
Hello. Hello. Yo.
Ridiculous.
Yo.
So
Yo, it's not about the money. It's about the company. Bravo. 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 I mean, that's it. That's it. It can't be about the monetary value. And I am in fear, not even in fear. I'm just concerned that people who make these lists And, you know, obviously who all partook in it. I'm not saying all the women who partook in it even thought the same. It's possible that they threw things in there that they just genuinely don't like and don't enjoy going to. So there's room to get that. There's room to see that. There's room to understand that there's some least favorites, right? It's just not a place that you enjoy. So they may have just thrown it on the list. I don't know who came up with it. But regardless, man, I think the first date is about meeting somebody. The first date is about taking time to get to know someone. And the value of the date can't be determined by the money that's spent and the threshold that's able to be met. Okay. If you're the right person and it makes sense and we have clicked together and we've had some really good conversation leading up to the first date, I just don't think money and the amount of money you spend matters. Like I said, for me, on a first date that I had last year, 30, I think $35, $35 maybe. We went to the arcade and we had a ball. We had a ball just being competitive and enjoying ourselves. The company was amazing. And we continued to meet up and enjoy each other's company and hang out. So I'm just saying we can't limit it to a monetary value. The man is worth more than the money that he has in his pockets or what he may not have. So let's not limit that. So are you here for that, or are you here to get to know him? Okay. Are you actually intentionally dating and trying to figure out who he is? Because I'm telling you that the money isn't going to solve your issues if y'all make it long term and have some relational issues. The money isn't going to solve the problem. You're probably going to want somebody who you're really compatible with and who can uplift you, who has some strengths in areas you're weak in. I mean, we can go all over the place. But I just think that it's you can get some understanding on the frustrations from the fellas. Fellas, my encouragement to you, this isn't all women. And clearly, I mean, through some of the reactions we did, comments were saying this isn't all women. So don't generalize it. Don't put it in the tag of all modern women, please, because that's not true. That was just a select group of women and even some more who might react later on. This is not all women. And it's important that you understand the value you're already created with, who you are, building and cultivating those relationships with your creator, God, calling, your assignment in life, capacity, what you have room for. Okay. And building and progressing, establishing in those. So you can move forward and attract the right people. Become the right person so you can attract the right people. Set your temperature so foolishness like that you can see from a mile away, and all you got to do is just throw up the deuces kindly and move on, because this is crazy. That's wild. So if you're catching this replay, definitely let me know what your thoughts are, what your take is on it. I would love to hear it. Do you agree with the list? Do you disagree with the list? Is there anything on the list that you would, again, remove? Is there anything on the list you would add? I mean, we can talk about this all day. But I appreciate you guys. This stream was kind of chaotic for sure. So I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, until our next conversation, be easy and be breezy. Got some more videos. Got a video dropping in like 10 minutes of a reaction, and then got another video dropping at 6. Video dropping tomorrow. And I was supposed to do some extra reactions, but I'm kind of running out of time. So we're going to come back next week with another stream, some more conversations going down. Meet me there. Same time next week. If anything changes, I'll let you guys know through the community. And man, I appreciate you guys. And as always, until our next conversation, peace.